Such as money laundering and tax evasion becoming a growing concern here in South Africa, FICA was then designed to help us curb these types of financial crimes. And we've got SABRIC CEO Kalyani Pillay with us in studio to discuss the importance of FICA for our perspective, but also the importance for companies and banks to know their customers. Why is it so important from a companies and banks perspective to have their customers FICA'd?
Well, for one, they need to know who they're dealing with. They need to know who they have on their books, and it's for various reasons as well. And I think when you look at it globally, everybody, governments all over the world are looking at how they could deal more effectively with things like terrorism, with things like corruption, organized crime, tax evasion.
Creating a database.
These are serious organized crimes across the world, and it affects economies all over. So, of course, governments have come up with legislation to try and help deal with this, to make companies, including banks, compliant, and to ensure that they collect all of this information on behalf of their customers. So all financial services are compelled to know your client. So they're compelled to know their clients. It enables them to have more secure and robust systems. It enables them to give their services in a particular way.
I was going to say, it's not just a preventative measure for crime. It's a great way of getting to know your client from their perspective, their demographic. It gives you key insights that can make you a better service provider.
It will as well, but I think the key focus here is definitely around looking at how we can prevent, to try and make it more secure, to know that when something happens, you at least know what you've got on the book. So very important for people not to be upset every time your service provider, like your bank or any other company, calls you in and says, I've got to get this information in.
Yeah, because you've hit the nail on the head there, because we often don't do it unless we're prompted to by our bank, or most of us getting a new cell phone contract or something along those lines. Is there a way that you can check your FICA registration? Can you do it yourself? What's the best way to go about making sure that you are up to date in terms of your FICA?
That's really important, Graham, because, it's not a once-off thing. Some people may think that you can do it once off, that the banks asked me once and I've given them.
You'll find out at the least opportune time as you're about to rent a new property or something. You're like, oh, my word.
Yes. What you can do is you can contact the institution that you're dealing with and find out if they have the latest information of yours. Also, there's an obligation on us when we move home, or we change our phone number, or we change our email address, or we change our job and we've got new addresses and new contact information. We're getting new monies coming into the account, because the banks have to actually check all of that as well in terms of suspicious transactions. So you need to notify your bank. You need to let them know. You need to let the company know that these details have changed. And also know that the companies themselves, banks and other institutions, are actually obliged and compelled in law to make sure that the information they have on their books is current, that it's valid, that it's authenticated. So that's why you need to go in with documents like, to prove your address, you've got to take your utilities bill, or if you're acting on behalf of someone, you need to take an original confirmed letter of authority as well. So you can't just say, no, I'm acting on behalf of someone else and they gave me this. And that's how you can get funny things happening. So it's to prevent all of that, it's in your own interest to do it.
Completely. And also, ultimately, these service providers are there to help us in times when we need those resources. So it's a two-way street. You help them, they will help you. Guaranteed. Business of any nature, big or small, they're all targets of deposit and refund scams, something that I've experienced firsthand. Kalyani is back in studio next week to discuss the importance of being extra cautious to protect ourselves from falling victim to these types of crimes. I'm not a dupe, and it's happened to me, and it happens so easily. So that's what we'll talk about next week.
We are brave, innovative, everywhere. We are SABRIC.